I am fascinated by this. I'm fascinated by all your paintings, but this one I find so interesting also because of the shape. Tell me how you picked that size of paper.
Well, when I was visiting a friend of a friend in Nara, the man who had a dream of renovating these old houses, maybe having a center to teach art to youth. And we were at this old house. We had lunch, and she took me to Nara, where the owner of this land had a shop and a gallery. Before I left the shop, he just kind of pulled a drawer out and he said, "Here, you want to try some of this paper?" And it was this shape. And I found that I really enjoy working on different sizes. So whenever I go to Japan, I look for different sizes of paper because it's always a challenge.
I really want you to talk about the edge of the painting, of all your paintings pretty much.
I like to feel like there's really no edge.
Okay.
I like to feel like I want the viewer to see the painting and follow it as it goes off the perimeter into the ether. Because I like to paint like it's perpetual motion and it's going beyond the limits of what the painting actually is.
I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm curious what you think. When you see this and you think about conveying that it goes beyond this painting, do you think of this as a window?
I don't know if it's a window. What I like to do is to suggest that what you're looking at is not one flat surface, but layers and layers, as I imagine maybe the earth is, layers and layers of protoplasm and liquid, and I want to make the viewer feel like they can go into the painting deeply.
So it's great that these two paintings are actually next to each other. I think it's very interesting to see the difference here. I want you to talk first about these circles. I know the circle means something to you.
Ancient Butterfly, I think the title came because I looked at it when it was done and it looked like the minuscule sections of a membrane or something. Just generally talking about all the paintings of this size, it was kind of odd that I had a stack of these small pieces of rice paper, and it kind of set me off in a momentum-driven challenge that I want to use up this whole stack. I think if you look at them, you could discern this kind of connective momentum going on as I went one after another.
Yeah.
And I don't always work that way. It just happened.
In poetry, we talk about a constraint, right? Like the haiku or the sonnet. And the constraint for you would be the paper in many ways.
I can paint postcard size to 5 feet by 5 feet. It doesn't daunt me. It's just different interesting propositions of space that you enter. And how are you going to enter that space? And what kind of journey are you going to take?
What do you think the ideal way to experience a painting is?
It's probably good to approach a painting without a lot of preconception of what you think a painting should be. and just see if the painting speaks to you. Just have an open mind when you approach a painting, and just see if it works for you.
And what do you think it means to have a painting work for you?
If it touches you and it communicates something to you, then I think it works.
It's interesting, so many people are afraid that they don't get art.
I think you should be a little more emotional instead of trying to intellectualize it.
I mean, you have years and years of training and skill and a gift, but you too are surrendering, it sounds like at the beginning.
You surrender and you're like on this constant search for your voice. I love the tradition. I love using ink on rice paper, but I'm gonna have to find a way that works for me and that is who I am. And that's so much easier said than done. You just there's so much trial and error, and you just keep doing it, and gradually you feel like you're coming out of the wilderness, and maybe you're starting to walk on this path that maybe is yours, but you just keep walking until you draw your last breath. So it's an endless kind of journey.